Hello, my name is Elspeth Ray, and this is my sister.
I'm Rowena Ray.
And we are about to come out with the first, and then later in August, the second book in a 4-book series called the Meg and Greg series. And they're books specifically for children who are struggling to learn to read. We do it by working on a buddy system, so there's simpler text and more complex text, and they are all based on the phonics approach.
So the Meg and Greg books are a series of short chapter stories specifically written for children who are struggling to learn how to read because they have dyslexia, or they have another language learning difficulty that makes it more difficult for them to learn to decode words and to read words. They can't just pick it up by osmosis like so many children do. So these books are designed for these children to get practice with recognizing different letter combinations and sounds that letters make in the language, get practice with repeatedly seeing those, we call them phonograms, letter sound combinations, and then get practice actually reading stories at their reading level. But because these children are often 7, 8, or 9 years old and have a much more complex understanding of a storyline, and they can understand complex stories, we have written the stories with 2 different reading levels. So one part of the book has, one part of each story has got a more complex reading level, about a grade 2 or 3 reading level, and this is read by a buddy reader. An adult, teacher, parent, even an older sibling or a buddy reader in the classroom. And this side of the story is at a very controlled level for the struggling reader to be able to read it and have success reading it, because they're able to read to sound out and read the words that are on this page.
Well, what we have basically done is that we've assumed that the children who are starting to read these books are children that have learned all the basic consonants and all the short vowel sounds, and then we moved on from there. So the next thing that kids tend to learn are the really common digraphs, SH, TH, and CH, and also CK. So those are the ones we put in the first book. In the second book, we put we put NK, NG, TCH, and DGE, just because that's a natural progression. All of those are what we call digraphs, which means it's more than one letter, but still making a single sound. There's a couple of features in the book that we've purposely put in, which we're calling dyslexia-friendly or struggling reader-friendly. Different things work for different people, but there are some specific things we tried to make sure we included. One of the main ones is a font that looks like the printed letter. I've worked with countless students that when they first see the double-decker G that is used in some of the old more, sans serif fonts, like Times New Roman, the double-decker G and the A with a little thing on the top, they don't look like the letters they've learned to print, and so they get completely thrown off by it. So we've purposely chosen a font that looks just like the printing that they do. That's one feature. Another feature is that all of the text for the learning reader is on a slightly shaded page. A lot of people, adults, typical readers and children, find it difficult with the very strong contrast of black on white, so a shaded page is a little bit easier for them, so we wanted to make sure that we included that. We've also got larger line spacing in between the in between the lines, which is another factor which is often cited as something that makes things a little bit easier for a struggling reader.
We want these kids to achieve reading success and gain confidence and become not only confident readers, but hopefully lifelong readers once they build up the skills.